65 years after gaining independence, Nigeria stands at a critical point in its journey, especially when it comes to security, from insurgency in the northeast to rising banditry in the northwest, and urban crime across major cities. The question of safety touches every Nigerian home. We will take a closer look at the state of security in Nigeria as the nation marks its 65th anniversary. Joining me today is the former presidential candidate of the National Conscience Party, Martins Onovo. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, it's so nice to have you on the show today, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. So let's quickly take a look, sir, at what's your take on the President Bola Tinubu'S independence broadcast this morning?
Well, we find the speech deceitful. We find it hypocritical. We find it offensive. And we find it alienating. To be specific, Jagaban Tinubu talked about the civil war being avoidable. That was his choice of word, avoidable. Well, if he really thinks the civil war was avoidable, then he wouldn't be as discriminatory as he is today. He's very discriminatory, and he's violating the federal character principle. And these are things that provoke others to react, and which can lead to crisis. So that is one instance of hypocrisy. He talked about all Nigerians finding better accommodation. Well, if you want all Nigerians to find better accommodation, we expect you not to be sectional. So you can see the hypocrisy, you can see the offense, you can see the deceit. He also talked about nation building, his nation building business. Well, if you look at the data, empirical data, it suggests that what he's doing is nation destruction business, not nation building. I think the data is very clear on that. Very, very clear. He went ahead to claim that he met a near-collapsed economy. Well, interestingly, it was his political party that handed over to him. So he's confirming that his political party destroyed the economy. Now, if he met a near-collapsed economy when he came in 2023, the empirical data shows that we are worse off today. So it means that he has deepened the destruction. Facts cannot be altered. Facts are facts. Using the universal criteria, the economy today, 28 months after him, is worse than what he met. And that is why I said it looks more like he's in a nation destruction business. But he claims in his hypocrisy that he's in a nation building business. He talked about the fruits of his reform. Well, I think the fruits of his reform are very clear, even from your own introductory statement. Insecurity, unemployment, hyperinflation, poverty, and hopelessness. Those are the fruits of his reform. So telling us that about the fruits of his reform, I will agree. It's just that the fruits are very destructive. And we had predicted from day one that a bad tree bears bad fruits. Unfortunately, the regime, the Tinubu regime, has even been worse than we predicted. So the facts are very clear. That broadcast is very, very deceitful, very, very hypocritical, and very offensive. Very, very offensive to any patriotic Nigerian. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So how would you assess security in Nigeria today? Do you think government at federal and states have done enough?
Well, I will want to put 95% of the blame on the federal government, not the state, because it is the federal government that has a commander-in-chief. So, and authority and responsibility go together. We know that constitutionally, the governors are chief security officers of their states. But we also know that they command no security forces. So it will not be proper to hold them responsible when they lack the authority. So it is the commander-in-chief that we have to hold responsible and accountable. And that's very clear. If you remember, one national newspaper did a front-page story on insecurity. And that was based on the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics report. That report showed that in a 12-month period of the Jagaba and Tinubu regime, over 600,000 people were killed in insecurity. Over 2.2 million were abducted. And over 2 trillion was paid as ransoms. So I go back to our senior comrade's question, is there a government in Nigeria? Because according to our constitution, the primary purpose of government is the security and the welfare of the people. So if you have in a 12-month period, over 600,000 abducted, that shows that you have 50,000 abducted every month. Sorry, over 600 million killed, or 600,000 killed. That means monthly, averagely, you have over 50,000 killed. Then if you have over 2.2 million people abducted, that is reflecting that 1% of Nigerians have suffered abduction. So this is the worst we have ever had it. And unfortunately for us, it is the worst in security. It is the worst in welfare. It is the worst in public morality. It is the worst in the economy. This is the worst in every index. Every index. If you look at our total public debt, it's unprecedented. We have never been this indebted since 1914. If you look at insecurity, it is worse. If you look at our GDP, it has gone from the largest in Africa to the 5th. So this is very destructive. And so when people like me talk about nation destruction business, the facts support us. So it's not being partisan. It's being factual. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So insecurity remains a major challenge, and we've seen states making a peace talk with banditry, like Katsina State. We saw a clip of them making a peace talk with banditry. So how much of insecurity challenge is it more of political or is it structural? Because for a state to make peace talks with bandits, it shows the level of insecurity we have in this country. So what do you have to say about this?
Well, the peace talk with bandits is not only in Katsina, it's also in Kaduna. So it shows that what you people call a government, which I call a regime, it shows that it has collapsed. It's a collapse of government. And like our senior comrade Owe Lakemfa said, is there a government in place? That's a question we need to ask the mass media, because people like me think that there's no government in place. And going to negotiate with bandits who come to the negotiation with their arms in the presence of law enforcement is an act of surrender. We have surrendered. It means we have been overwhelmed. It is catastrophic, and you can see the data that I referred to from the MBS.
Yes.
It shows that we have been defeated. The bandits have defeated us, and they defeated us because of bad governance. And if you listen to the generals and retired generals who are talking, you will know it's because of the political leadership.
So moving on, sir, do you think Nigeria should consider reforms like state police to address insecurity in the country? Are you with me, sir? Hello, sir. Oh,
yes.
Are you with me, sir?
Like I said, spoke, Brigadier General Togun spoke, General Nicholas Rogers spoke, General Usman spoke. All of them agree. It is the failure of the political leadership. It's not a failure of the military, because the political leadership controls the military.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So do you think Nigeria should consider reforms like state police to address insecurity in the country?
Well, you cannot simply consider reforms without doing a proper diagnosis. This is the same thing that happened with the so-called economic reforms. It was baseless, it was worthless, it was destructive. So if the problem here, like we have rightly identified, is the failure of the political leadership, then that's what we need to deal with. Because you don't want to go from reform to reform. And the reforms of the recent past have failed completely. And if you ask my own opinion, I can tell you that this present regime, this ad hoc regime, is incapable of managing any reform, completely incapable. The evidence is clear, the facts are known. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. So lastly, sir, as Nigeria celebrates our 65th independence, what do you think is the way forward?
Well, the way forward is that we have to get the right political leadership. I think the problem is very simple. And don't forget that Professor Chinua Achebe was able to identify the problem since 1983 in his little booklet, The Trouble with Nigeria. And that all the ethical intellectuals agree with him. I mean, the Honorable Justice Mohammed Owais, everybody agrees that the problem is the political leadership. So all we need to do is to get the right political leadership. It's that simple. And there is no other reform you will bring that will work. The ones you brought in the past did not work because the leadership is wrong. And the leadership is set on doing the wrong things. And you can see that the country has become completely dysfunctional. And when you talk dysfunctional, you are talking about dysfunctional in every arm of government. You're talking about dysfunctionality in the executive. You're talking about dysfunctionality in the legislature. You're talking about the dysfunctionality in the judiciary. You can see this latest case of Justice Berechi Wike, who owns properties worth millions of dollars in the US. And she's supposed to be a full-time judge. So you can see that we cannot continue on this line. We must go to the root cause, which is the leadership, and solve the problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. This has really been an insightful segment. And we hope when we call you next time, you will act into our call, sir.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much.